Hello, everyone. My name is Elle, and my disease is coronavirus, also known as COVID 19. So, patient history, I decided to choose Ariana Grande for this. Love her so much. So, obviously, her name is Ariana Grande. She is 31 years old. She was born female, and basically, the signs and symptoms that she's experiencing is coughing, sneezing, fever, and loss of taste. So, her diagnosis of COVID 19. So, basically, the cause of illness, a patient was performing at a concert and she was obviously surrounded by thousands of people, and some of those people in the crowd were infected with COVID 19. And she came into contact through the air. She came into contact with COVID through the air because COVID, as we all know, is airborne transmission. And because she's singing, she's like constantly like spitting out, and like her air is going, and so is the crowd is also singing back to her. So singing is basically just like spreading bacteria. Sorry, let me put on do not disturb. So how do we know? So after noticing some symptoms, Singer took an over-the-counter COVID-19 test, and her results ended up coming back positive. And this makes sense because of the signs and symptoms she was experiencing. So what causes COVID-19? So the virus SARS-CoV-2, which is a pathogen, is a virus that causes COVID-19, and that's probably where COVID got its name from as well. So, microbiology of the disease, COVID 19. So, is COVID RNA or DNA? And the answer is RNA. SARS CoV 2, the pathogen that causes COVID 19, is an RNA virus, and the genetic material for it is encoded in the RNA. So, all RNA, no DNA. So the viral structure, I basically have a picture right there on the right, and there are very long RNA polymers packed into the center of the particle, as you can see in the picture. And there's a protective capsid around the entire viral or the virus itself. And it's made up of protein molecules that have a nucleocapsid, and the core particle is the outer membrane of lipids, which is proteins inserted. So as you can see, COVID-19 is very protein based. It has a lot of proteins and lipids. So yes, COVID-19 is enveloped. It is a single-strand positive RNA enveloped virus, and it belongs to the Coronaviridae family, which makes sense because the names are similar. Science likes to keep names similar. And for the spike protein is found outside of the virus. It directly causes the infection to a human being, and vaccination has been able to, let people be, what's the word, like, not immune, but basically like not experiencing the same signs and symptoms as someone who wouldn't be vaccinated, correct? So, the pathology of COVID 19 featuring Ariana Grande. So, why does COVID 19 do damage to our bodies? So, essentially, COVID targets our immune system and our respiratory system in very negative ways. So, for the immune system, it upsets communication within the immune system. What does this mean? So, it basically, like COVID 19 confuses the body and the immune system to attack positive, like cells or positive things within the immune system, and it basically upsets the communication because it confuses the body into destroying actually good like things for us, and instead of attacking the actual virus. And autoimmune reactions can occur. This is why people with autoimmune diseases were very, very prone to COVID during 2020, the height of COVID. So this is why a mask was very, very important. And it also targets the respiratory system negatively because it fills our air sacs with fluid, which is why we get so much coughing, so much sneezing, so much like respiratory like issues when we have COVID. And it causes the shortness of breath, inflammation of the lungs, and etc. Right? So the treatment, thankfully for Ariana Grande, it was a mild case. So all she had to do was rest, hydrate, and take some medicine for pain relief. And she has a personal doctor, I'm assuming. So her symptoms were monitored, and she was able to get better after a week. And what resting does with COVID is it just helps the body, because you have to rest your body whenever you're sick. So resting kind of just like helps reset the body and just lets the body do its own thing while it's fighting off the virus. I'm pretty sure Ariana Grande was also vaccinated, so that's why her case wasn't so like huge or like awful. So she just wasn't performing. She wasn't doing any interviews. She was drinking lots of water. Hydration is also very important when you're sick, especially since the respiratory system is just so clogged up. And she took Advil for pain relief because she was experiencing body aches, which is also a very known symptom of COVID. And she was able to get better after a week. So that was pretty good. So COVID-19 does have some long-term effects. There's actually a term for COVID that stays in the body and keeps affecting you after like weeks and months and sometimes even years of a diagnosis of COVID or a COVID-19 infection, and it's called long COVID, right? So long COVID-19 can occur if COVID symptoms still persist after a certain period of time after infection. Long-term effects can last months or even years. This is why we see people still, after having COVID for like years ago, they're still having issues with their sense of taste and their sense of smell. So this is actually my first point. A lack of taste and smell is very big when it comes to long COVID. You can feel fatigue, brain fog, which is also very scary, digestion issues as in diarrhea, shortness of breath, and dizziness. So I feel like COVID should be taken way more seriously than it actually is, just because like COVID can become something like long COVID and it can still affect you for possibly like most years of your life. Like it's not really confirmed like if long COVID is really going to affect all of us for the rest of our lives, even if it persists after years, because obviously COVID's a new variant which occurred in 2019. So yeah, those are the long-term effects of COVID. And these are all of my sources. So in conclusion, I really just believe that COVID, especially in the height of 2020 and the pandemic, it was just a very scary time. It was pretty new, like it was affecting people. Many people were dying, but thanks to the vaccine that came out shortly after, people were not only the first one, the second one, and the booster. People were not only, probably catching COVID, but not receiving symptoms, but they were probably able to like get better quicker, and also just vaccines do save lives. So I'm very happy with the way COVID-19 came out. It is a very complex virus, but I'm just happy that the CDC was able to inform everybody, let everybody know that the vaccine is important. And yeah, so